How do we practice clap? Cheers, we practice one. That's it, you ready? Start saying, fill up like the room. That's it, start with the room. Mr. Rintu Basu.
Good evening. Sorry guys, if you can't see me, here I am. Just let me take this out of the way because I've been accused of hiding behind the microphone stand. I see several of you sniggering. Are you casting aspersions about my sylph-like figure? Good, no. My name's Rintu. If you haven't guessed already, I'm actually not from around these parts. I'm actually from Mary Hill. Which is absolutely true, but as you probably guessed, the accent's not from Mary Hill. The accent's from Calcutta. That's where I actually come from. All Calcutians, people from Calcutta, speak like this. You know? But I've been over here for more years than I can think of now. You know? And you know, this thing about being born in another country and then living most of my life here gives me this thing about, I just love looking at cultures of people and people's differences. I don't know whether you recognise the fact that people all around the world are different, you know. They are. One of my most favourite groups of people are Americans. Have you ever met Americans? Yeah. Americans? I just love Americans. I think they're great because they're kind of, you know, nothing in America is over 200 years old, is it? Because I mean, they wiped out the indigenous species for a start, you know, and all this left they've built since they've been there, which I think gives you a really excitable, naive view on the world. Do you know? I think America are just like little puppies wagging their tails at the world as they invade small South American countries, you know. And I kind of really love them for it because I just think they're cute. And you know, one of the things I love most about Americans is that whole personal development thing. You know? Have you seen the big American gurus that come over and they do packed stadiums and you have to whoop and cheer and you have to do lots of, well, mindless cheer, well, no, sorry, lots of, yes, come get away! Yeah, lots of that sort of stuff, and they have to do hugs all over the place, you know, hug a stranger days. I mean, I hate that sort of thing, particularly when it gets to the tongues. But I love these big American sort of like seminars and stuff that they do with a big tall, you know, blokes with their shiny teeth and all women with perfectly enhanced breasts. If you can see them. Because I like being the fat bloke at the back with a bag of chips. You know, yes, the world has can'ts as well as cans. Yeah. So the other thing that I love about Americans is they don't do irony. They don't say they don't do irony. I was once at one of these big seminars. 9,000 people they packed into a room, and they had the big guru out the front, and he got everyone chanting. You know, and these weren't just the mindless woohoo chants; they were proper chants. They were chants like, you know, I'm a leader, I don't follow. I'm a leader, I'm not a follower. I'm a leader, I don't follow. 9,000 people in a room. Does no one else see the irony? Maybe I might want to follow one of them. Yeah, so I was in America at the beginning of the year. I was in New York. I was actually working there, and I was only there for a couple of days. So I didn't really get a chance to see the city. Particularly. I had one night off right in the middle of it, and the guys that I was working with said they'd take us out this one particular night. So I said to them, look, first time in New York, never seen the city. No, it's a very historic kind of place. It's got lots of things going on. Take me somewhere that's typically in New York that you know that I would enjoy. I was thinking, you know, maybe the Empire State Building, or Statue of Liberty, maybe, you know, something like that. They took me to a restaurant. Is there something about my character? I mean, they would say that I'd be interested in a restaurant. You know. But they took me to this restaurant. But more embarrassingly than that is that I can't even remember the food because it wasn't the restaurant that was important. They took me to this restaurant to show me the toilets. Straight up, the toilets in this restaurant. Because here's what's so special about the toilets. They had one-way mirrored glass. One-way mirrored glass. I mean, you have to do this the right way because, I mean, if it was you having your dinner, watching people in the loos, it probably wouldn't work. You know. But trust me on this, it doesn't work that well the other way around either. You know. So my friends took me to this restaurant. They said, "You've got to see the lavatories here." So I went to the, you know, as we're walking in, we'll go, okay. If it's the lavatories that are important, let's get a table just outside the toilets. Let's get a table just outside the toilets, and then we can sit there and watch what happens and all this sort of stuff. Okay? Now, when you're sat at this table, the toilets are one-way mirror glass, so you're sat there and you're eating, and you can't see what's going on in the toilets. You know, but my mates are giggling and smirking and everything else, and they go, just go to the loo, see what happens. Just go to the loo. Okay, so I went. And you can see everyone eating as you're going into the loo. Now, this is kind of a guy thing. I'm not sure that you women have the same. Well, for a start, you don't pee standing up. But guys, have you ever had that thing? You know, when you have your flow interrupted. You know, like if you know, if you've ever been to the loo and someone starts talking to you when you're there. You know, ever had that go? Yep. For me, it's kind of, I can't anymore. And then it progressively gets worse because you start thinking, if he sees the fact that I'm not going, what does he think that I'm in here for? You know? And then you sort of have to try and justify yourself. You know, stand there and go, yeah, I think I've finished. Yeah, so needless to say, I'm in this toilet in New York, watching all these people eating. You know, and it's quite close. I mean, can you imagine? You know, if you were eating, you know, you do simulated chomping noises and stuff like that. And I'm still here. It's quite disconcerting, you know. Having realised that I'm not going to empty my bladder anywhere through this meal, I left the toilet and sat back down again. And suddenly worked out, well, if it was that disconcerting for me, maybe it is for other people as well. So, you see it coming. So, 2 minutes later, some bloke goes into the loo, and you leave it just a couple of minutes just so that they can get, and then you just go, hi, and then watch them run out of the loo. But my favourite bit came about, we've done that about 2 or 3 times, and we've got a bit, you know, we've got used to it by then. So I kind of went, okay, well, how can we up the ante on this? So next guy goes in. And a few minutes later, he comes out, and I just says, do you want to go back and wash your hands? And you know, the bizarre thing about this is that he did. This is the thing about cultures, you know. I mean, only in America could you find, you know, a restaurant that's famous for mirrored loos, you know. But it's not just people that I love in terms of cultures and stuff. It's I can do, you know, any of these sorts of things. So I'm doing religion at the moment. Religions are great. I'm practicing Buddhism. I love the idea of Buddhism. You know, I don't know. Do we have any Buddhists in the room? No. Okay. Right. So this is what Buddhism's like. You spend. It's all about reaching your higher self. It's all about taking away all of your attachments to personal stuff. And it's also about great bars. Have you been in Bar Buddha? The food in there is brilliant, you know. And it's my most favourite thing about religion. And the toilets. The toilet. If you have the opportunity, trust me, if you have the opportunity, go and have a look at the loos at Bar Buddha. Well, that's for the men. I don't know what the loos are like. I'm assuming they'd be the same. Well, without urinals. But, well, maybe you have, I don't know. Because apparently the Russians have now got, because they get into the unisex, they actually have urinals where women can be standing up into a tremendous advancement in the 21st century, unisex and feminism. But anyway, if you get a chance to have a look at the urinals in Bar Buddha, and if you get the opportunity, I would go for it. We'll just get people to run interference and just see how it goes. The thing that I love, I've just realised there's a theme running about toilets. Okay, so toilet humour. So I think if you go and have a look at the loos in Bar Buddha, effectively, just as you walk in through the door, on one side there's urinals, on the other side there's sinks. You know, just like you have in any usual toilet. But these sinks are big, you know, they're big basins. They're big round things with you know, a big plush kind of tap thing over the top. And if you've had a couple and you walk in suddenly because you're bursting and you don't notice the urinals on that side, it's quite easy to mistake them. You know, it's not the sort of thing I would do, but but it's quite easy to mistake these things for urinals. Do you think it was something I said? But anyway, yeah. So there's these sinks that look a little bit like urinals. So I was there the other day, and I just actually wanted to go to the loo. So walked into the toilets, and I caught the idea of the urinals being over there. What I hadn't caught onto the idea of was the bloke that was at the sink, like that. You know, and it's not what you expect to see when you go to. We're in Glasgow, maybe you do, but you know, it wasn't kind of what I was expecting to see. So I stood there, frozen at the door, watching this guy listening to me sing. Now, again, I kind of guess you probably wouldn't understand this, but it's very much a guy thing. Have you ever been stared at in the toilet? No, this is just the toilets I go to. But you know, like, have you ever had that thing where you know you're facing one direction and you know there's someone staring at you from behind? You know, yeah. So there I was, staring at the back of this guy, and he obviously got the idea that there was someone there. So he turns round, and as he turns, he sees the urinals. You know. And he realises he's just been pissing in the sink. You know. So, and as I said earlier, you know, I don't do conversation in toilets very well. You know. So there's this pregnant pause while he puts himself away, and then he scurries out the loo. And I go, "That's lucky, right? I can go about my business." And I go, and do you know my key issue? I don't know whether I ought to wash my hands. So, you know, Buddhism's a great religion. You know, I like the idea of having a go at it. I'd have a go at Christianity if they would do the same kind of thing, you know, a bar or a disco. Crucifixion disco. I mean, wouldn't that be something? I could do that, but I think the next one on my list for the moment is actually going to be Islam. I like the idea of being an Islamist for a while, because I mean, 5 times a day they've got to go and face Mecca. I mean, I've never actually played bingo, but I think